just brought it all back to us.
A lesson not learned, leaving more people suffering. That's the conclusion reached by parents who successfully convinced the judge not to send a man to prison who killed their son in a boat crash years ago. Now, after that man was involved in another deadly boat crash on Rough River Lake, they have something to say. This is Wave News at 11. I'm John Boll. We've been reporting on a crash in the dark just after midnight Sunday when a bass boat slammed into a pontoon boat. Now we've learned much more information about that collision and another deadly boat crash on that lake. Wave News reporter Logan Perone has the latest and some important reaction.
Well, today we learned David Nicholas Stomberger and Eric Derloshin were killed in the crash. Court records show this isn't the first time Stomberger was involved in a deadly boat incident. Tonight, I talked with a mother and a father who fought for a second chance for the man who killed their son. New details are surfacing days after a boat crash killed two men on Rough River Lake. The deputy coroner says 46-year-old David Nicholas Stomberger, who was operating the pontoon, was killed when a bass boat crashed into them. 51-year-old Eric Derloshin, one of 7 passengers on the pontoon, was also killed. Deputy Coroner James Embry says the pontoon was stationary with navigation lights turned off. Embry also says alcohol is suspected, but will have to be confirmed with toxicology reports. Court records show Stomberger had been tied to a deadly boat crash before.
He was a good young man. He was in his last year of college. It's just hard to talk about things.
Nearly 26 years later, Sondra and Barry Albert are reliving the August night their son Chris didn't come home. Court documents say a then 19-year-old Stomberger was charged with operating a watercraft under the influence of alcohol and reckless homicide in 1998. The Albert's son, Chris, was thrown from the boat on Rough River Lake while trying to keep it from crashing.
You never get that sight out of your mind for the rest of your time.
In 1999, Barry and Sondra asked the judge to not sentence Stomberger to prison. He got 5 years probation.
We'll never get our son back, but we were hoping that it would change him and he would learn something from it.
Now, Sondra says a lesson not learned is leaving more people suffering.
We've got more people, other families, including his family, that have to learn to live differently like we've had to do. And we didn't want that to happen to anybody. It's just not the thing to do to bury your children.
The Alberts hope sharing their son Chris's story helps save at least one life, if not more.
Nothing good happens after dark in a boat, and especially if there's alcohol involved.
Now, the Alberts also believe having tougher boating laws on the books in Kentucky could make for safer waters. As for Sunday's crash, Kentucky Fish and Wildlife officials say this is an open investigation, but that 5 other people on the pontoon were injured, including Stomberger's 2 children. Logan Perone, Wave News.
Thanks, Logan.